Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your TV settings. You're tuned into the podcast, and I'm your host, Vic Stams. You probably noticed that the background is a little bit different today, and that's because this episode, unlike the others, is a little bit different. Today, not only do I have one special guest, but I have two. The first guest you probably remember from previous episodes. This guest, to some, is referred to as the voice. To others, probably one of the most talented OBGYNs I know. He is my dear friend and my brother from another mother. He's none other than Dr. O, Shayo. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing, my brother?
Doing well. How you
Good,
doing?
Man. Normally, you're sitting in the other seat over here, but we'll get to that in a second.
We will.
How do you feel on this? Is this your good side?
I don't know if I have one of those, but I'll take it.
Okay, all right. It's been a minute since we last left off. Anything new with you?
Just living, man. Nothing too crazy.
I mentioned moments ago, man, a lot of people love having you on because of your deep voice. And so I have a special request. If I could ask you to read this for me, please. Go right ahead. to the audience, pick your camera. It's right there. For the ladies that are tuned in at home, please, if you would, please, into the microphone.
It was the night before Christmas.
I love it, man. Thank you. So please don't send me any DMs. Just send them directly to Dr. O.
You're wild.
But, the other guest that we have in studio live today is someone that I first became familiar with from your social media. Every time I would log into your social media, I would always see this individual in travel trips and activities and things that you were doing. I was like, who is this Batgirl to Batman? Who is this Robin to Batman, or vice versa? And you told me who she was and what she did. And I started thinking to myself, with all the controversies, specifically in medicine right now, especially as it relates to women's health care, and even this debate about men versus women in healthcare, I said, what better time to have this guest on the podcast than right now? So, for those of you tuned in at home, our second guest today is a very special person. She is Portuguese by way of Canada. She is a talented physician, OBGYN as well. She is an avid animal enthusiast and dog lover. She is home to several dogs, several cats, maybe other animals as well. She is my dear friend, not as close to me as Dr. O. She is Dr. Denise Sousa. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
How does it feel to be in studio? We talked about this for a while. This is like a year in the making.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable? Are you camera ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Hair looks good. Everything's on point.
Yep.
So since I have both of you guys here, can I just put the debate to rest? Tell me, who is the best TV OBGYN? Is it Addison Montgomery or Dr. Cliff Huxtable from The Cosby Show? Shayo, Denise, can one of you guys? Controversy.
You will not catch me on any sort of recording supporting Bill Cosby.
I'm trying to separate the man from the fictional character. But I would say, would you agree that Addison Montgomery is probably the most popular OBGYN?
Yeah, I'm a girl's girl. I'm going to go Addison.
Okay, fair enough. I think it's actually sad that in retrospect, Dr. Huxtable, who Bill Cosby, for those of you who know or don't know, was a TV OBGYN and then was accused and found guilty of sexually harassing just a number of women. So it's ironic, but it's also sad. So, guys, we have a lot of topics to get to today. And one of the first ones that I want to get to is going to be what I just touched upon, some of the differences, men versus women in medicine, and even in my field, plastic surgery, but also OBGYN. So one of the things that I want to talk about today are the differences, men versus women, in healthcare, specifically in OBGYN, and even my field of plastic surgery. Mm-hmm. I thought about this because there have been some viral videos in which clinicians are advocating that men should go to urologists, women should go to obstetrics and gynecologists, women that are seeking plastic surgery treatment should go to female plastic surgeons because they know what women want. In your field, do you feel like there's any credibility to these claims that maybe women are better suited going to women OBGYN or women that are seeking plastic surgery procedures should go to women plastic surgeons? Because I definitely have my thoughts on it, but I'm curious to see, do you guys have thoughts on that? Because, I mean, after all, man versus woman, same profession.
I mean, we're all part of the same team, right? So whoever you're most comfortable is who you're going to be the most honest with, and who you're the most honest with is who you're going to get the best care from.
Yeah.
I will say, though, there is some data that shows you have better outcomes if you see a female physician, kind of just across the board. But do I think that women should only go into OBGYN and men into urology? No, I think that's pretty narrow-minded.
Okay. What about you?
No, I fully agree. I think first and foremost, you need to go to someone who listens to you, takes your concerns seriously, and that you feel comfortable with. I've had surgery performed on me by a woman. Unsurprisingly, everything went perfectly fine. I think comfort is the big thing.
Yeah.
If I have a patient, or if I don't have a patient, they say, I only want to see a woman. Cool. Look, no's a full sentence. I don't need your reasoning.
Right.
Whoever you're comfortable with works.
And I've had patients that have asked to see a man as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I used to think, I think if we look at like historical trends, historically there was always a tendency for women to go to male OBGYNs or male plastic surgeons. But I think just in retrospect, that's because women were very limited even getting into medicine to begin with. And but I think that trend, at least in plastic surgery, seems to be changing now, with almost a majority of the trainees that are in programs now in plastic surgery being female. I've even found that in my own practice in plastic surgery, I talk to medical students that are rotating both in plastic surgery but also in OBGYN. And the majority of the male medical students, I should have said medical students, not residents, but medical students tell me that when they're in the OBGYN rotation, they come into the room excited to help. They introduce themselves as medical students. Of course, they're male. And then oftentimes they're asked to leave the room. I don't know if that is related to them being male or if it more has to do with them being a medical student and not versed in deliveries, et cetera. I don't know. Maybe it's patient comfort. Maybe it's lack of knowledge. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
I mean, I think the big thing is that it's a sensitive situation. It's a high exposure situation. Like
Sure.
If you're meeting a woman for the first time and she's, in the throes of labor, she's uncomfortable, that might not be the best time to meet anyone you don't know.
Sure.
So I don't necessarily think it's a male thing and they're like, they don't want to see anyone that they're not comfortable with or know in that setting, I would imagine.
It's interesting. I've actually had, I've spoken with female plastic surgeons who, in my mind, sometimes I think maybe they would be acutely aware of maybe what women may want or their goals and aspirations. But I've also talked to some that say some women prefer to talk to male plastic surgeons. Maybe thinking, what do their spouses want? What is the male aesthetic? What is sort of a man look for? What are their proportions? Also, some thinking that men tend to be more objective in how they look at women, i.e., what position is the breast in? What are the measurements? Versus maybe the belief that some women just go on more on feel. I think it should look like this, or if I were you, this is what I would do. Not understanding that maybe that woman is not necessarily playing to your wants or desires as a fellow woman, but maybe thinking more, what would my husband want, or what's objectively considered aesthetic. Again, I think men and women can do that. But in my experience, this is some of the feedback that I've heard from some female patients. So it's an interesting dynamic. But I think the most important thing that I think about is, in my opinion, I think gender matters in about the first 5 minutes, but I think trust matters for the next 5 years. And that's kind of how I view it. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. All right. I got a few other things that I want to get to. And the next topic is social media. I feel like every time I do a podcast, social media comes up, probably in part because this is social media right here. But I feel as though social media has become a hot button topic more recently with some of the maybe unbecoming moments. One that I think about was this incident that happened in California. Did you guys hear about this incident? Apparently in the OBGYN's office, and as best I can recall, I'll kind of explain to you what happened. Apparently there was a practice in California who the providers would see female patients, perform the exams and what was needed, but after the patient would leave, would then document, take photos, video of maybe sterile gloves, the exam room paper, really kind of sensitive things that were going on in the room, and in asking individuals to think about what type of patient did this or what type of exam just happened. And it got a lot of attention, rightfully so, because it really felt like a violation of privacy. Even though the patient themselves weren't there, it was basically taking a very sensitive moment and sharing it publicly, without the consent of the patient. Nor do I think most patients would even consent to that. And I think it just gave another black eye to medicine in that, patients have this belief, there's this doctor-patient confidentiality. But when I leave the office, is my doctor really not telling anyone? Are they talking about my care and my case with someone else, whether it's a colleague or a family member? And I think this type of attention, for some patients confirmed those fears that at least in this one setting, that happened. What are your thoughts on that? Do you remember that story? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, and they all lost their jobs afterwards, from what I recall.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think everyone that was involved in that ended up getting fired. And honestly, I'm not mad about that because I think that was a pretty massive violation of trust just for some clickbait.
Yeah, and I feel like that happens a lot in an effort to get views or likes. People are pushing the envelope more and more and doing kind of just some crazy stuff. And again, I think it's just the world we live in. When I was coming through medical school, you found your doctor by, reading the textbook and who's the guy that wrote the chapter, who's the girl that wrote the chapter. And now those people are still major players teaching residents and medical students, but the people that are gaining all the attention are the ones that have 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram. And so now we find ourselves, that person has 1 million followers or likes. How do I get 1,000,001? How do I push that needle even more to do that? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
As Sousa said, I'm also not mad about that. But I think you do run a risk where you can have overexposure if you're trying to do things for more engagement. But I think if you perform good patient care, especially in something like plastics, you can get a lot of business by word of mouth in your field. If I get good care from her, I'm going to tell my friends that I received good care from her.
Sure.
And I think some of those clickbaity things might get someone to your door, but they're not going to necessarily stay in the building if you're not providing good care for them.
Right. Yeah, there was a similar story that happened with a plastic surgeon in, I think it was Ohio. And I think this provider, spent a lot of time live streaming and, doing TikToks during live surgery. And I think had some challenges with outcomes. And the belief was that maybe the outcomes were related to the fact that maybe that individual was more focused on the camera than the actual patient in front of them. And I'm sometimes, asked by patients that are undergoing maybe a weight loss journey or a cancer journey, if we can film, their surgery or their post-op care. And I usually decline to do that, in part because, I think it's a very private matter. And I always want to keep my attention on the patient. But not to mention, there are other individuals that are involved in the patient's care that may not want to be on social media, such as, surgical assist or other nurses that are in the room. So I tend to shy away from that. But I do understand the current climate of medicine is one that is moving more towards social media exposure. And for me, I'm just not there yet. I enjoy the interaction of talking about these things, but sharing the actual intricacies of these procedures I'm just not there yet personally.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a situation where you have to say sorry about something later. And so I would agree.
For those of you that are following at home, we are not making light of the situation, but Dr. O is referencing, we do have a secret word that I have not shared with Dr. Sousa. We'll talk about it at the end of the podcast, but I've been making a mental note of how many times this word has been said. So for those of you that are keeping score at home, this is the secret word of the podcast. So we'll see how many times Dr. Sousa says that.
I feel personally attacked.
Or seen.
Any other thoughts on the social media trends? Do you guys have social media accounts that you keep active?
I have one. It's not very robust. My dogs, though, have social media.
Okay.
And I get a good amount of stuff through their accounts.
Okay. What about you?
My Instagram's private. I don't post anything from a professional standpoint on
Yeah.
there. So.
It's interesting because, I a couple of years ago, I actually canceled all my social media. Did I ever tell you this story? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Dr. O and I decided to go back about 3 years ago to get our business degrees, our MBAs.
Nerds.
Hateful. But the long and short is that a lot of these advanced degrees, MBAs, et cetera, are moving to online. And so in my mind, I thought, okay, great. I'll just show up, take the test, and that's it. Not realizing the dynamic of online education involves things like, group interactions, posting on topics that are discussed, whether it's, group topics or papers that are read, et cetera. And all of these points count towards your participation component of the grade. And I'll never forget, I was over in Germany, and Deanna says to me, she says, do you have any, homework to do? I said, look, this is business school. There's no homework. You just show up and take the test. And so she said, okay. I've been getting these emails from the business school about, we miss you. It'd be great to have you engage. So I said, what are these guys talking about? So I pick up my phone, I log on, and it shows participation like 0 points. I said, oh shit. I said, I'm failing business school and it's online. So at that point, I said, look, instead of posting about my time in Germany, I need to get rid of social media altogether and focus on school. So I got rid of it up until last year when I decided to do the podcast. So I got my social media account back solely to talk about things on the podcast. But I would have patients that would show up to the office and say, hey, look, I try to see how you do, a breast augmentation or a BBL or a facelift, but all you have is podcast stuff and stuff about your dog. Are you a real plastic surgeon? So I kind of felt like a little bit insulted, like I need to have maybe a separate account for plastic surgery and then a separate account maybe for my own personal life. But right now, I just have the one account. So for those of you at home that are watching, if you would please like and subscribe, hit that bell notification icon to be notified when new videos drop. So shameless plug for the podcast. All right. Next up are some controversies that I got to touch on. And really the controversies, I think, center around this idea of what is the ideal care that we should be providing for patients, and specifically women who are pregnant and maybe even children. I'm talking about the Tylenol during pregnancy controversy. This is a big thing. I didn't know that this was as big as it has become. There's been a lot of recent media attention centering around the correlation, or maybe lack thereof, I don't know, between the use of Tylenol in pregnancy. I don't know what trimester, any of those things, and it's linked to autism, I think it is. Specifically, the current is maybe Attorney General, Surgeon General? I'm not sure. Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm not sure.
Human Services.
Health and Human Services. I misspoke.
Yes.
I think has sort of waved the red flag, cautioning women who are pregnant about the use of Tylenol in pregnancy. Can you guys just shoot me straight? What is the deal? Should we be using Tylenol in pregnancy? Should we use it with caution, not use it at all? I don't know. I've got terrible back pain, so I use it all the time, but I'm also not pregnant. So I'd love to know your take on this.
If you need the Tylenol, take the Tylenol. It's not candy out of a Pez dispenser. It's a medication that serves a therapeutic role.
Yes.
So if you have a fever can be just as, if not more dangerous to a pregnancy than Tylenol.
Oh, really?
Or Acetaminophen. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yes, Tylenol, there's no good scientific correlation, causation between Tylenol and neurodevelopmental disorders. That's just, again, going back to clickbait.
Sure. Okay. Makes sense. Any thoughts on that?
I'm pretty sure my mother never took Tylenol in her pregnancy.
Okay.
And there's plenty wrong with me. So,
Well, that's good to know. Like I said, I spoke to my mom. She shared countless times in which she took Tylenol during pregnancy. Maybe that explains a few things. I don't know. She also shared with me, I don't know if this is legit or not. She would tell me that after I was born, that she would drink a can of beer before she would breastfeed, in that maybe that would help calm me down. I can't imagine that anybody would run a study like giving a postpartum woman a 12-pack saying, try this out versus...
well, you said that in jest, but that is kind of a larger issue, how we don't have enough adequate studies about women in general and pregnant women specifically.
Sure.
And it's hard to test things and find new things that could help women because, the fear of litigation, if there's harm to mother or baby, but just why do people hate women?
And to go back to the alcohol, we did, in a previous lifetime, used to give pregnant women alcohol for preterm labor.
Really?
They'd go home on an alcohol drip, like a pump.
I think maybe I do remember reading something about that in medical school. So, okay, that's interesting to know. But it sounds like, when you safely and for the right reasons, that it can be helpful in pregnancy. But as you pointed out, you shouldn't just take it like a Pez dispenser and just take the whole bottle.
Like any medication.
Like anything,
if you need it for a certain purpose, you should take it.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is this whole idea of vaccines and the impact of vaccines on younger folks and whether or not you should take vaccines or not. Certainly, this I think a lot of this started maybe during the COVID pandemic. And what were the impacts of the COVID vaccine? Was it worth the benefit of maybe reducing mortality from the virus itself versus potential concern for complications that maybe the vaccine would cause? But now I think this has sort of snowballed into talking about what are the impacts of other vaccines. I think more recently, the measles vaccine is the one that's come up. I think the current cabinet member, Dr. Mehmet Oz, I think, who is a cardiovascular surgeon, now turned talk show host, now turned cabinet member, has actually more recently advocated for patients getting the measles vaccine. But I think other members, other public figures, including Robert Kennedy, maybe have cautioned against it. I had the measles vaccine, and from what I know, it has been safe. But I don't know, are you guys aware of any recent data that would maybe cause you to counsel a patient who's going to be expecting soon to maybe hold off on the measles vaccine? Because I'm not aware of any data to say against it.
Vaccines cause adults. That's the correlation.
Very good.
I had
Anything
measles as a child.
Yes.
I do not remember it. I was not in this country at the time.
Okay.
But my mom always tells me how she thought I was going to die.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I obviously don't remember, but it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You usually don't give people vaccines for frivolous things.
Right. Yeah. I definitely had the measles. I've gotten all the vaccines. As it relates to the COVID vaccine, I remember getting COVID and thinking, man, I'm not going to live through this. And I remember getting the shot, the vaccine. I don't discount some of the challenges that other individuals may have had with the vaccine. But for me personally, I just had a sore arm for a few days. And for me, that was a price well paid for not being as sick as I was when I did get COVID. So, all right. Those are some of the more serious topics. But now I want to get to some fun topics. And one of the things I want to talk about is international travel or travel in general. Because I think when I travel internationally and I meet people from other countries, it really helps shape my perspective on the world as a whole and I think helps my interactions when I meet patients in the office. A lot of times I do meet patients from the United States, but a lot of times I meet patients from other countries, and being able to connect with them about their own country, their own culture, I think helps to bridge that gap in medicine. I noticed that you guys travel a lot internationally. Is that one of the reasons why you travel, or what are the benefits of traveling? Do you think that impacts your interaction when you meet patients?
I was always raised traveling. Like, I think I was like born with a passport. My parents always took us on trips. The biggest benefit of traveling is I'm not at work. The second biggest benefit is, like you said, seeing the world, meeting new people, trying new things does give you an appreciation for the things you have at home.
Yeah.
It gives you some perspective on things you maybe don't have at home.
Yeah.
And it's always good to see the world through a different lens. There's nothing bad can come of that.
I agree with that 100%. I find that sometimes when I do travel, I am very humbled by all the things and all the riches that I have as an individual. And sometimes I even come back from travel, sometimes sad that I can't do more to help others in the world. That even though I am here in this house and I'm looking up at this moon, there's somebody else tonight looking at the same moon that has a lot less than I do. And this life is not as comfortable for them as it is for me. And sometimes that's kind of sobering and also sad at the same time. What are your thoughts, like when you travel internationally, and how do you think that helps shape your interaction with patients, or even you just as an individual?
I mean, like, just being exposed to different types of people in general helps. I think that allows you to just think more rationally and clearly, because everyone is capable of doing the same things, whether that's good or bad. Like, people are doctors here, people are doctors in Singapore, people are good at basketball here, people are good at basketball in Japan. You know, like, everyone is capable of doing the same things for the most part, given opportunity, and seeing that the same sort of people are everywhere makes it a lot easier to know that we're all just people. And from like a patient perspective, like, I like being able to say a random phrase to a patient. Like, I literally, we don't all speak 15 languages like Dr. Sousa here, but I had a patient from Brazil the other day, and I was like, "Bom dia," you know.
Wow,
like,
okay.
I don't really speak Portuguese at all, but it's nice. Like, they get a little laugh. It's like a little bit of an icebreaker, and things like that. Being able to like say cuss words in Tagalog, you know, it's like it's fun for people.
One of the things that I found when I traveled internationally is that I used to always think that America is just the best at everything. And as I've traveled, especially to other countries, and sort of had a limited glimpse into their healthcare system, I see a lot of inadequacies that we have in the States, here in the States. And I think to myself, man, are we really the best? I'm thinking about wait times in other countries in which you can just walk into the ER. There's no headache about who is your insurance provider. Is this procedure approved? Do we have to wait for authorization, and all these other things that you think about in the States, and you're able to just get care because you need it, not because maybe you can pay for it, or you're first in line, or any of these other things. It's just you're entitled to get it because you need it. And I wish that there are some things that I could change about our system, and I would say that that's one of the things, is just the ability for all people, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, to be able to access healthcare. And I know that that's a big thing, especially in women's health as well, because I know that that's one of the big factors that leads to morbidity for women internationally, is just access to healthcare. So, anything you guys want to add to that before I switch to the next topic? You guys do a lot of fun things when you travel, though, also. And I want to kind of touch on that briefly. I know that you travel to Portugal periodically, but you also travel to Canada. I've seen a few sort of social concert-related activities that you have. I've also seen you travel with our dear friend Warren. You guys usually never post photos or videos, so I don't really know what.
I cannot confirm or deny any.
Tell me what the most interesting country is that you've been to, and what is the most interesting thing that you did when you were there?
Ooh.
You need a second to think about it?
I do.
I mean, whenever I go somewhere, I mean, I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always going to do that. But I just like to be on the street level wherever I go. I mean, I just like to do what people who live there do.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not necessarily looking for, you know, a tourist trap or something. Like when I was in the Philippines, I remember just like being on the back of some random motorcycle, low-key fearing for my life.
Yeah, sounds safe.
I mean, but those are the things that like, that's what it's about. You know, I just want to like, for lack of a better word, I'm just trying to be
He's in the streets.
I'm trying to be in the
in the streets. Yeah, no doubt.
where people are.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I've got an interesting story. This is story time with Dr. Stams now. We, Dr. O and I took a trip. I don't think I ever told you this. We went to Spain a few years ago. I think I told the story maybe once or twice.
I think you did, yeah.
We went to Spain a few years ago and decided to go to an area called Mallorca. It's sort of maybe an island sort of region within Spain. A lot of people go there for like the beach and things like that. But I remember we went there and we decided that we wanted to do some limited cliff jumping. I know, Mom, don't cringe. We decided that we want to go to this beautiful location, these amazing rocks, this beautiful ocean, and jump off these rocks into the ocean. Okay, sound like a good idea? It wasn't. We hopped off a boat in the middle of the ocean and swam about maybe 100 yards to get to the rock face that we would then climb up. Do you remember the story?
Sadly.
We jumped off the cliff each maybe once or twice, doing a few warm-up jumps. The cliff led into a cove where the ocean current and waves were kind of going into. Do you remember what happened next? I jumped in and we swam into the cove thinking this looks beautiful. Moments after getting to the cove, I look into the water and I say, oh shit, there are jellyfish all around. I yell out jellyfish. Everybody panics thinking, how are we going to get back to this boat that's 100 yards out? I start swimming for my life. I think I have maybe a video or photo of this that I got to show. I never knew that Dr. O could swim. This guy goes fucking Michael Phelps, jumps in the ocean, swims so fast through thousands of jellyfish that you didn't even manage to get stung by a single jellyfish. Dude, I was lit up. I got marks to this day. I mean, we get on the boat. How did you pull this off, Michael? Would you tell me how you did this?
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready, man.
So that was a crazy trip. The other thing I remember from this trip before I get to your trip is that we were in the hotel. Do you remember the hotel situation with the DJ? For the viewers at home, yes, I'm going to tell them who don't remember, who don't know the story. We're in the lobby. There's a big group of people that have gathered in the lobby. Specifically, there's an individual that has a laptop out sitting in the corner, and he's got a whole entourage around him. So Shio comes over to me and taps me on the shoulder. You know what he says? He says, that's Calvin Harris over there. For those of you who don't know, Calvin Harris is a world-famous electronic DJ that plays music that's played all over the world. And I said, Calvin Harris? I said, I know that name. Calvin Harris dated Taylor Swift. Yeah, of course that's Calvin Harris over there. It only makes sense. Shio said it. So I say, hey, look, we'll get a photo with Calvin Harris, maybe a video. So I just casually walk over. I say, hey, Calvin Harris. I said, hey, can we get a photo with you? The guy looks at me and he says, yeah, no problem. You can get a photo. Just make sure you tag me as Calvin Harris on Instagram. Easy to do, of course, no problem. I'm going straight to the gram after we take this photo. So we take the photo. I never forget, I'm going to show this photo in the podcast because there's a girl that's in the photo that kind of has her hand over her mouth laughing. So we take the photo. I'm posing because I'm just like, I'm the coolest guy here. I'm hanging out with Calvin Harris, who dated Taylor Swift. So immediately after the photo, we post it on all social media platforms. And the Instagram just blows up. I'm like, holy smokes, I've got like 100 DMs. I was like, I'm going viral. This is great. So I pulled the DMs. First one, you idiot, that's not Calvin Harris. Second was like, Americans, shake my head. The list goes on. I'm like, Shia, what are they talking about? Finally, somebody says, that's not Calvin Harris, that's Diplo. For those of you that are watching in 2026, Diplo is the artist who at the Winter Olympics just closed the games playing all the hits that he's known for. And I had no idea that Calvin Harris is not Diplo and vice versa. Shayo, do you remember this? Any thoughts on this?
To be fair,
No, there's nothing to be fair about.
we had a few beverages. at this point in the day.
You had a few beverages. He had me thinking that. Now, with all due respect, I could not tell the difference. I don't know them that well. I know their music, but I don't know them.
Like to this day, you cannot. If I held up a photo.
Look, Diplo is ingrained in my head now. I'm never gonna forget who Diplo is. Diplo, and to the viewers that are watching this, if you can help this video go viral, if Diplo can just find this video, Diplo, hey, I'm sorry, man. Mistakes happen. I hope you're doing well. I love the performance at the Olympics. So, anything to add on that?
My bad.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say. I will never follow suit with anything that you tell me from here on out. All right. Let's do the lightning round and wrap this up. But before we do that, tell me your story.
Oh, okay. So I think the coolest thing I've done on a trip is right before. It's not going to be as cool as insulting Diplo, but.
Calvin Harris.
But right before COVID, my girlfriend had her bachelorette party in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, nice.
And it was right around Carnival.
Okay.
I don't know how these strings were pulled, but we were part of the Carnival parade. We had
What?
We had the full feather outfit.
What?
Yeah, we marched in those streets looking crazy. It was so fun.
Really?
Yes.
Were you there for this?
No, we hadn't met yet.
No.
That sounds like a fun story.
Yeah.
Let's shift to the lightning round, because I've got a few just, this or that one hitters that I want to ask you guys.
Okay.
Let me start with the elephant in the room. You're Canadian.
Yes.
Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts? Which one is better? Tim Hortons.
Neither.
Wow.
I said what I said.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know, Tim Hortons is probably the #1 coffee establishment in all of Canada.
Yeah.
We don't have it here in the States. We have Dunkin'.
We do.
We have Tim Hortons in the States?
In Michigan.
What? Just in Michigan.
I've seen it in Michigan. You might have it other places too.
For those of you that are watching, if you have Tim Hortons in your state, let me know. Leave a comment in the comments below. Shayo, Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts?
I don't drink coffee.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next question.
But I will say the donuts at Timmy's are better than Dunkin's.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that. So to my next question, coffee or tea then?
Tea.
Coffee.
Oh, we have dissension here. I'm a tea person. Your coffee straight black, sugar, cream, anything in it?
Straight black. Tea is just water with grass in it. Like, why?
Herbal tea though, maybe? No?
No, it's just dirty water.
I didn't say matcha. I said tea.
Is matcha tea or coffee?
Tea.
It's tea.
Okay, green tea, right?
Grassy.
Grassy tea. Okay, fair enough. Music right now. In your home lives and in the OR, what are you guys listening to?
EDM all day, every day.
EDM all day, every day. Okay, so you do know the difference between
Very
Calvin
much
Harris
so.
and... Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Shayo. I appreciate it.
In the OR, I'm in ABC room.
Okay.
Anything but country.
Really?
Yes.
I rock with country, though.
I love that for you. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
No country.
I cannot do it. No,
Okay.
No. But anything but.
Okay. Does that include the trap, rap, all the things?
Anything but country.
Anything but country. Okay, fair enough.
Baby Shark. I'm playing Baby Shark right next face together.
Let's see. Hospital shoes. Gym shoes or clogs?
Clogs.
Clogs.
Yeah, I'm new to the clog game. But
Okay.
yeah.
You like clogs, though?
So far, yeah.
Okay, Shayo.
Gym shoes.
You're a big Hoka fan, is that right?
Past tense.
Oh.
I moved on.
A rough breakup there?
No. I won.
What are you rocking now in the...
What are they called? The is it Ultra or?
These like running shoes or?
Yeah, the wide toe one.
I think it's Ultra.
Yeah, Ultras.
Okay.
That's what I'm messing with right now.
So you like gym? You don't worry about getting blood and things like that on your gym shoes?
Shoe covers.
Shoe covers. Okay. Do you rock shoe covers too?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wear the boots, like boots with the fur up to the knee.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bouffant or quote unquote surgeon's cap? What are you guys rocking in the
I
OR?
prefer a surgeon's cap.
You like the surgeon's cap?
Yeah.
Do you spend a little time in the mirror making sure it's like perfect, kind of turning it up, making sure the knot looks
You
good?
don't throw a fit.
You're a
I'm,
bouffant guy.
Yeah, man, I got a little bit up top. You know?
Okay. Do you think you'd ever go with the surgeon's cap?
I
though?
used to when I had like shorter hair. I'd always wear the surgeon's cap.
I go in the locker room. I was talking with maybe Doug Jones or one of my other guests, Khalil Andrews, about this. I think it was Khalil Andrews. Shout out to Khalil Andrews in Iowa if you're watching. Doing an amazing job. I love your work. Keep up the great content. I was talking to Khalil, and Khalil was just like, it's a no-brainer, man. It's like surgeon's cap. But I see the guys in the locker room, and I mean, they're just, first take, tie the knot. It doesn't look right. I'm just like, is this a fashion show? Or are we here to take care of patients? I don't know.
Yes.
I just throw in the bouffant because it's quick and it's dirty. I'm like, let's get on to the main event. All right, very good. Let's see, scrubs, baggy or fitting? I see some people that had the fit. I'm like, it's a little bit too fitted.
I'm not wearing like joggers. Like that's crazy.
Okay.
I'm just not wearing fitted either.
Not wearing fit, just kind of in between?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I like a little bit of a loose fit because sometimes I'm standing, then I go to sitting. When I'm sitting, I don't want to be flooding. I just feel like I got to have a little bit more of a looser fit.
That's fair.
Do you like the fit? Cause
Yeah, I'm just wearing like the hospital scrubs and nothing's too.
It's around the pockets for
nothing's
me.
too
I need
tight.
the maximum amount of pockets.
I hate pockets.
It's okay
I
to be wrong,
absolutely. You like pockets too?
What have pockets done to you?
It's another thing. Let me tell you my issue is with pockets. When I find things in the pockets
That don't belong to you?
that don't belong to me. So I would rather not have a pocket to not have anything hidden in the pocket.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. No.
You don't like Kinder Surprise eggs either, do you?
Let's see. Cars, electric or combustible engine?
I have a hybrid.
You have a hybrid. Okay. So you're just trying to kill the earth a little bit, save the earth a little bit?
I won't
Okay.
commit to anything. It's like Canada and Portugal. I have commitment issues.
Okay, so a hybrid. Okay, fair enough.
I'd prefer an EV, but I don't drive one.
Okay, why is that? You just got to hear the roar of the engine?
No,
or
I don't care about that at all. It's just, I live somewhere where it's cold.
Yeah.
And just the network and all that, but maybe the next car.
Okay, you think you'll ever switch over to EV?
If I move back west, probably.
Okay, all right, makes sense. Let's see, domestic or international travel? Domestic or international?
International.
I think we have some of the best scenery here in the U.S. Amazing parks, beautiful beaches, Miami, other places. Do you always have to go international to get there are a lot of international individuals that come to the States for these things, whether it's skiing, the beaches,
Yeah,
the
that's
parks.
because they don't live here. No, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like.
So they are also picking international.
Fair.
You grew up in Chicago, yeah?
I grew up in the rack, for those of you at home. I grew up in the rack,
How
yes.
many times have you done touristy things in Chicago? There's a lot to see in Chicago.
Yeah.
I've never
But
done
you
touristy
live
things.
there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, never done
So-
touristy things.
When you live somewhere, you're like, oh, I'll get to it at some point.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I like 50-50. Like I would say half my trips last year were domestic. I went to the Alamo and I asked, and every American I met,
small, yeah?
what's the Alamo? Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember, but remember the Alamo. I'm like, remember what about it? None of you know what it is.
They do
even.
say remember the Alamo.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get you. I used to always believe that domestic was easier. Expense, time, etc. What I found is that for some activities like skiing, to ski in the States is like 3 times what it is maybe in Canada or Europe or other places. This idea that it's so expensive maybe to go to Europe or to go to other countries, usually you can find a flight for probably cheaper than it is maybe to go from New York to California. So I used to believe that international travel just wasn't possible just because of expense. But the more I've done it, I've actually found that traveling in the States, whether it's hotel cost, flights, is actually more expensive than outside the country.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that?
it could be depending on where you're going for sure.
And what you're doing when you get there.
Yeah, that is true. All right, fair enough. Let's see. Favorite food. Now, this could be when you're at the hospital, maybe, and you're like 30 hours deep into like a call, or when you're at home. Do you have a favorite food, or is it just dependent on what's going
On
on?
the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wingstop?
Wingstop?
At
Yes.
work. At work.
Really?
Yeah.
At work.
Yeah.
What flavor? What flavor?
Hot honey.
son.
Hot
honey.
hot honey.
All flats.
Not-
well done.
Not lemon pepper?
No, that's
Hot,
not me.
hot honey?
That's for other establishments, the lemon pepper wings.
For those of you tuning in, let me know in the comments below what's your favorite Wingstop flavor. For me, it's got to be lemon pepper, though.
Have you tried hot honey?
I've tried hot honey. It's just a bit much. It's messy. It's messy also.
It's a dry rub, my friend.
It's messy. I feel like it leaves it's like eating Doritos. I feel like it leaves a film on my fingers when I eat it.
Memories.
It leaves memories. Okay. Okay, hot honey. Maybe I'll give it another look. All right. Pool or ocean? I used to have thoughts on this. What are yours? Pool or ocean?
I mean, I want to say ocean, but there is a time and a place for a pool.
I think the time and the place is always for the pool. No?
Those jellyfish really traumatized
The jellyfish, like I used to think like, I'm in Cancun. Why is everybody hanging out in the pool? The ocean is right there. Mm-hmm. But when you get in the ocean after being stung by a jellyfish, you start thinking about all the things in the ocean that can kill you. I start thinking about that stingray that went by me in Cancun that probably could have taken me out. I think about the shark that I can't see under the water. The pool looks really attractive at this point in my life.
See, I would like the pool to be like close to the amenities of the pool. So
Okay.
like Cancun, I'm in the pool.
You're in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like in Spain, I'm in the ocean.
Ooh, Spain is where it happened. Okay. What about you? Pool or ocean?
It really just depends on what the vibe is. You know, like it's hard to like hang out with your friends and like drink and talk in the ocean.
Yeah.
But then ocean views are always better.
And boats. Love boats.
Yeah, definitely. You can't have a boat in the pool. So yeah, shout out to
True.
boats in the
That's
ocean.
true. Balance, man. You know, a bit of both.
Yeah, gotta have balance. The last thing, you guys take like many physicians overnight call. Are you guys night people, night owls, or are you guys morning people?
Like when I'm not at work?
Just in general.
When I was young, I was a night person, but
Okay.
as I've entered my 40s, I'm a morning person for sure.
Yeah.
I'm 100% a morning person.
Are you?
Oh yeah. Like, I wanna work out at 4:30 in the morning and then get the rest of my day out of the way. Yeah.
What time do you go to bed though?
I don't love myself. So 11 to midnight.
Damn, really?
I don't. I'm not a good sleeper.
How much sleep do you
I
need?
don't sleep.
How much sleep do you need?
I prioritize.
I need more than I get.
Yeah.
But like if I just went to sleep, I didn't set an alarm.
Yeah.
I'd probably wake up in 6 to 6.5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
I'd love to sleep more.
Yeah.
I'm not a good sleeper.
I feel like I need more like 8 to 9 hours
yeah,
of sleep.
9 hours
Would you
of
agree with
sleep.
that?
Yeah, 9 to 10.
Yeah. I must say, though, that over the course of like this podcast, I've actually learned a lot about you guys that I didn't know. Some things I wish I didn't know. Others, I'm glad that I found out. But it's been a really fun shoot. I think as we close, as I sort of recap and think back to the things that we talked about, it sounds like from top to bottom, like, consult with your doctor for severe medical related questions, whether it's Tylenol, vaccines, or anything else. We are not giving medical advice to anyone, but I think it's good to have the discussion in general. I would say beyond that, I'm definitely going to consider switching up my OR music, though, in the future. EDM sounds good, but I need to make sure that I know who the artists are before I turn on the music. Would you agree with that?
Not really.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, just play whatever. Yeah.
And then I would say the last thing, we definitely need to plan a group trip together.
We do.
Where's that going to be to?
Now we're getting Wingstop on the way to the airport.
All right, fair enough. For those of you tuning at home, thank you for tuning in to this episode. I appreciate the love and support. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. I'll link all the other links below, social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out. And until the next episode, peace.